10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, my friends. Hello, and thank you so much for coming to spend part of your April Fool's Day with me. Today is April 1st, 2024, and it's the first time in a very long time that I haven't had to look at the corner of my screen to tell you what the day is today. Because I did get fooled a couple times today. Really only one time, but it was pretty funny. How is everyone today? Thank you. Thank you so much, Trishy, for saying that. Trishy says, thanks for covering this trial. We desperately need good legal analysis. Too many YouTubers with no legal expertise covering it, but no legal minds. Thank you. I thought what we would do, since I have never covered this case with you at all, because when Lori Vallow had her trial about a year ago, I was not yet a LawTuber or a YouTuber. And so I've never covered this case with you. And so I thought what we would do is look at this case with a fresh set of eyes, as if we didn't know anything about Lori Vallow's case. It's going to be hard because I know so many of you were so invested in the Lori Vallow trial. In fact, I did cover it a couple of times as a guest host on Duty Ron's show. And many of you are crossover viewers with Duty Ron and myself. So that's where you know me from originally. And I think I even covered it with him when the verdict came in on Lori Vallow, I want to say. I'm not quite sure. So I wonder, and look, this is a collaborative show. It's an interactive show. I talk to you, you talk to me. I bring up questions. I'm an analyst. That's what I do. I analyze. And so there are going to be probably a lot of small details that I am not familiar with that you are familiar with. And I welcome you to put them in the chat, just as long as they're accurate. So if you're new here, welcome to the chat. We have the best chat on YouTube and the greatest moderators on YouTube, and we're not afraid to say it. We try and keep it classy. I don't use the foul language or curse words, and I try and be as sensitive to the topic as I possibly can. This is a case involving children, and you know how those cases affect me. And I know how these cases affect all of you as well. And I am a mother of 5, so I try and handle these cases involving children in a very considerate way. And as you know, on my channel, it is always, always, always about the victims. And in this case, we are here for the justice of JJ, Tylee, and Tammy. So this trial is going to differ a bit from Lori Vallow's trial, if you did watch that one, in a couple of respects. There's a new charge in this case that Lori Vallow was not charged with, and that has to do with Tammy Daybell, the wife of Chad. But hi, Mary Rothman. Yeah, okay, thanks. I did see that. But let's try and stay on topic tonight, okay? This is a stream about Chad Daybell, and I'm just going to ask the chat to try and stay on topic for tonight. This isn't going to be a very long one, but I just want to try to get everybody caught up before the trial starts, because they're in jury selection process right now. I think it's estimated that the jury selection in Chad Daybell's case is going to take about 2 weeks. And I don't know if any of you were watching it today. I find it kind of boring. Unless I'm the one picking the jury, I find it kind of boring. It's on Zoom, so I found that I didn't think any of the coverage was that great. You really couldn't see much or hear much. And so I wonder if you guys are even watching that. A lot of people are just streaming it on their channels without even being there. They're just kind of streaming it on their channel. And I'm kind of like, look, that's not for me. If I'm going to be live streaming a trial, I'm going to be on camera talking to you about it the whole time, because that's what I do. So I'm interested to know if you guys have been watching jury selection all day today. I saw like Brandy was on for 9 hours with this thing. I don't know if she was on or not. I just noticed that some people were streaming it. And I think it's boring and it's, difficult to listen to. I think they vetted something like 2,500 jurors for this case because the venue was changed from Fremont County to Ada County. And remember, initially, Chad and Lori were supposed to be tried together. But before Lori's trial, the cases were severed and Lori went to trial without Chad. Chad waived his right to a speedy trial, and his attorney was sitting in the courtroom every single day during Lori's trial, learning everything he could about the case and who was going to say what. And he did a lot of due diligence during Lori's trial. And Lori's trial was not televised. It was audio only. So it was a lot different. This is going to be televised. Although if it's going to be in this Zoom format, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Do anybody know if they're going to have a pool photographer in there like a Law and Crime or a Court TV camera, or if it's only going to be Zoom? Because I find that hard to watch and hard to pay attention to. I mean, maybe I'm just a snob when it comes to TV watching, but that's the way I find it. I don't know. A lot of people here are not interested in the jury selection. We watched with Kurt. He read us some of Chad's book. Oh my goodness. Did he get Chad's book? Does he have Chad's books? It's only court Zoom and it's going to be like that for the trial as well. Oh, we get so spoiled when we have the trials with the pool photographer from Court TV or from Law and Crime or all of the above, the way we do when we watch the Karen Reed hearings. Only the judge's feed, huh? Well, Deanna says she heard Court TV. I don't know. Maybe they're only doing jury selection on Zoom. I am not quite sure. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to have a little story time. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the case, about Chad's case, and then we're going to look at the charging documents because that's what I do here. I'm a lawyer. We look at the charging documents. We're going to go back and look at the probable cause affidavit, the original probable cause affidavit that led to the arrest of Chad. And if we have time, we're going to then look at the indictment because there were new charges brought under the indictment. The probable cause affidavit is dated June 10th of 2020. And the indictment was not until almost a year later, May 24th of 2021. And remember that these crimes occurred all the way back in 2019. So these poor families have been dealing with this case for 4.5 years, waiting for justice for JJ and for Tylee and for Tammy. And that's a very, very, very long time. So who is Chad Daybell, you ask? Maybe. Or maybe you already know. Chad Daybell is a 55-year-old man who was born in Provo, Utah, and he grew up in Springville, Utah. You may recall Springville, Utah is where the Frankies lived. We've been covering the Ruby Frankie case extensively together, and Jody Hildebrandt, and the Frankie home is also in Springville. And that's where they live. He graduated from Brigham Young University, where he was a communications major. He married Tammy, his wife, in 1990, and they had 5 children together. They founded a publishing company that actually released his Doomsday books. He's also an author. And he calls himself a prophet. And I think at one time he was also a gravedigger. So put those 3 together. We're going to have a trial that's going to be full of zombies and spirits and doomsday and darkness and fringe beliefs taken to the extreme. So if you haven't seen the Lori Vallow trial and you're not familiar with this case at all, buckle up because it is going to be a bumpy ride. Chad met Lori Vallow at a Preparing a People conference in St. George, Utah in October of 2018, where he was a featured speaker. Does anybody know what a Preparing a People conference is? Because if you do, please enlighten me. I don't know. I don't know what that is. But in any event, apparently she was smitten with him. And they started a relationship, and then crazy things started to happen. One news report that I read said that part of the fascination in this case stems from the extreme religious beliefs the couple shared, which will likely be on display during the trial. And this woman's name is Leah Sotil. She's a freelance journalist who wrote a book called When the Moon Turns to Blood about the culture and end at times practices and paranoia and the deaths surrounding Lori and Chad Daybell. And she said Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell represent a very fringe part of the LDS faith, and that people who are mainstream Mormons might not even recognize. Chad and Lori would take LDS scripture and then just sort of add on these almost like fantastical sci-fi elements. So talking about zombies being the arbiters of dark and light scale system. I'm sorry, being the arbiters of a dark and light scale system, where they could say someone had been infiltrated by a dark spirit and that they could go light again. But in this case, all of the people who were killed went dark, so that has nothing to do with the LDS faith. So again, this is a case of religion gone awry, extremism in a rare form, but it's something that we just actually saw, again, in the Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt case. So there are some parallels. Go to the chat for a second. It does. Sounds like a pepper conference. Yes, Janai, you could say losers. That's classy enough. That's classy enough. So it gets really, really twisted, this case. Chad Daybell is on trial for charges of conspiracy to commit murder and first-degree murder of Lori's two children, 7-year-old JJ Vallow, 16-year-old Tylee Ryan, and his wife, 49-year-old Tammy Daybell, plus 2 charges of life insurance fraud for Tammy Daybell's death. So conspiracy to commit murder, first-degree murder, and 2 charges of insurance fraud. And it gets crazier from there. There's too much in the timeline to get into right this minute, but we'll do it after. Let's look at the original probable cause affidavit for the charges against Chad. It's about 11 pages. I'm going to read it to you, but it's going to be interesting because you may not have seen the original court documents when you were watching all of the news coverage during Lori's trial, which happened all the way back in May of 2023, I believe. Lori Vallow Daybell was found guilty of murder and conspiracy to commit murder of the same victims. And then in July of 2023, she was sentenced to 5 consecutive sentences of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Then in November of 2023, she was extradited to Arizona, where she is currently awaiting trial for the death of her late 4th husband, Charles Vallow. There are a lot of players in this case, and so I don't want to confuse you right at the start, because if you don't know about this case, your head is going to start spinning. So let us first go to the affidavit of probable cause that was originally filed in this case that preceded the arrest of Charles Daybell. Except for, this is the one for Lori. Oh, because this one's at the beginning. Okay, they're together. The pages come up different sizes, so I'm going to enlarge them for you, and we're just going to have to adjust in between. And this was originally in the county of Fremont. Like I said, they moved for a change of venue, and now the venue is Ada County, which is in Boise. This is the state of Idaho versus Chad Guy Daybell. It's the probable cause affidavit of Detective Ron Ball, state of Idaho, county of Madison. I, Lieutenant Ron Ball of the Rexburg Police Department, being first duly sworn under oath, depose and state as follows. The information contained herein is true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. I'm a detective with the Rexburg Police Department and have been employed in law enforcement for more than 27 years. I am currently the lieutenant over investigations for the Rexburg Police Department. I currently hold an advanced certificate and a management certificate from the Idaho Peace Officer Standards and Training Academy and have over 2,500 hours of training. I have attended multiple trainings and classes throughout my career, including graduating from the FBI National Academy in 2015. I have received multiple hours of specialized training in investigations. I have also conducted numerous investigations and interviews with suspects, victims, and witnesses involving narcotics, sex crimes, and fraud. I have also received numerous hours of training on traffic stops and detection of criminal behavior. 3. I respectfully ask this court to take notice of the probable cause affidavit in Madison County, case number CR 33-20-0302, a copy of which has been attached. Since November 26 of 2019, the Rexburg Police Department has been involved in the search for J.J. Vallow, date of birth 5/25/12, and Tylee Ryan, date of birth 9/24/22. The minor children's mother, Lori Vallow, has been charged with 2 felony counts of desertion of a minor child, 1 misdemeanor count of resisting and obstructing, 1 misdemeanor count of solicitation to commit a crime, and 1 misdemeanor count of contempt. The contempt charge is for failing to comply with an order in a child protection action in Madison County, Idaho, to produce JJ and Tylee to the Rexburg Police or the Department of Health and Welfare. She was required to produce the children by January 30th, 2020. Tylee was 17 at the time she went missing. Actually, that I believe is incorrect. Wasn't she like a couple of days? It was a couple of days before her 17th birthday. But in any event, it says Tylee was 17 at the time she went missing, and JJ was 7 when he went missing. Chad Daybell was present in Kauai, Hawaii on February 20th, 2020, when Lori Vallow was arrested on the felony desertion charges. I was present at that arrest. Daybell was also present at the March 6th initial appearance in Madison County, Idaho. As such, I know that Chad Daybell was aware of the felony charges directly related to the location, health, and well-being of the minor children named above. Since November 26th of 2019, the Rexburg Police Department, along with the FBI, have been investigating the location and whereabouts of these 2 minor children. The last verifiable sighting of Tylee Ryan was on September 8th of 2019 in Yellowstone National Park. The last verifiable sighting of J.J. Vallow was September 22nd, 2019 in his mother's apartment, located at 565 Pioneer Road, number 175, Rexburg, Idaho, by Lori's friend, Melanie Gibb. While the Rexburg Police and FBI have received many tips of alleged sightings since the beginning of the case, none of these tips have led to any verifiable or actionable information regarding the health, safety, or location of the minor children. Lori Vallow moved to Rexburg on or about September 1, 2019, with her children, Tylee Ryan and J.J. Vallow, and her brother, Alex Cox. Lori resided with her children at 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 175, Rexburg, Idaho. Alex Cox resided in the same complex, initially living in the same unit as Lori, and then moving into his own unit at 565 Pioneer Road, Unit 107, Rexburg, Idaho. Lori Vallow's close friend, Melanie Gibb, has cooperated with Idaho and Arizona law enforcement regarding the investigation of the children. Melanie Gibb has reported that from September 19th of 2019 through the morning of September 23, 2019, she visited Lori Vallow at her new residence in Rexburg, Idaho. Gibb reports that when she arrived in Rexburg, Lori Vallow informed her that J.J. Vallow had become a zombie. Gibb further reports that the term zombie refers to an individual whose mortal spirit has left their body and that their body is now the host of another spirit. The new spirit in a zombie is always considered a dark spirit. While the dark spirit inhabits the host's body, the person's true spirit goes into limbo and is stuck there until the host body is physically killed. As such, death of the physical body is seen as the mechanism by which the body's original spirit can be released from limbo. This belief was told to Gibb by Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow had learned it from Chad Daybell and immediately told Gibb. Gibb was present with Lori Vallow when Chad Daybell first taught Lori this information over the phone in early 2019 in reference to Charles Vallow. Melanie Gibb has further informed me that Lori Vallow called Tylee a zombie in the spring of 2019. Gibb was on the phone with Lori and heard Lori call Tylee a zombie, to which Tylee responded, "Not me, Mom." This arose out of Lori requesting or requiring Tylee to babysit JJ, and Tylee did not want to. Lori Vallow also told Gibb that Tylee had turned into a zombie when she was 12 or 13, which was approximately the same time Tylee had become, quote, difficult to deal with. Melanie Gibb has further informed me that she was told by Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow that they held the religious belief that they were part of the Church of the Firstborn, and their mission in that church was to lead the 144,000 mentioned in the book of Revelation. They also stated their mission was to rid the world of zombies. On January 26 of 2020, a search warrant was served on Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow in Kauai, where they were living and on their vehicle. The children were not found with Chad and Lori in Hawaii, and no evidence was found to suggest that they were living with Chad and Lori. Through this investigation, we have discovered that J.J. Vallow was registered at Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg the first week of September 2019. Kennedy School was informed that J.J. had an individual education plan, or IEP, due to his autism. Kennedy Elementary was in the process of creating a new IEP for J.J. On September 23rd of 2019, J.J. had an unexcused absence. On September 24th of 2020, just break for a second to say that I believe that that is a typo. I believe that that is supposed to say on September 24th of 2019, because that would be the following day. Lori Vallow called Vicki Barton of the Madison School District and informed her that JJ was going to Louisiana with his grandparents and wouldn't be home until the end of October and maybe later. On October 29th, Madison School District was informed that JJ would be homeschooled. During searches of Lori's apartment in Rexburg and subsequent searches of her apartment in Kauai, no evidence of homeschooling material was ever found. No other school district has ever requested JJ's records from the Madison School District. As mentioned, the last verifiable sighting of Tylee Ryan was in Yellowstone National Park on September 8th of 2019. Photographs established she was there with her mother, Lori Vallow, her brother, JJ Vallow, and her uncle, Alex Cox. They drove there in Alex's silver Ford F-150. The trip was further established by tracking the GPS, cell tower connections, and Google account information on Alex Cox's phone. The Cellular Analysis Survey Team, hereinafter CAST, is an FBI unit that provides analyses of cell phone records and presents the information to law enforcement. CAST has analyzed Alex Cox's phone and provided the location information mentioned in paragraph 13. The CAST analysis provides the location of Cox's phone. Due to my training and experience and common knowledge, I am aware that most individuals now keep their cell phones with them at all times, and the location of an individual's phone can be used to establish the location of the owner of the phone. CAST uses a cellular device's GPS data points, cell tower connections, Wi-Fi connections, and Google tracking information to establish the location of a cell phone. The GPS data points used by CAST are considered to be highly accurate and can place the device within a 6-meter radius. CAST has further informed law enforcement that Cox's phone exited the west entrance of Yellowstone National Park at 1840. His phone appeared to be at Buckaroo's Barbecue Grill in West Yellowstone, Montana, from 1845 to 1902. Cox then returns to Rexburg at approximately 2037. The phone is then at Lori's apartment, number 175, until 2135, at which time Cox appeared to go to the Maverick on Main Street in Rexburg at 2143 until 2153. Cox then went back to Lori's apartment from 2244 to 2315. At 2344, Cox is located at his residence in apartment 107. On Monday, September 9th, from 12 a.m. and 12:44 a.m., Cox's phone was located at his apartment, 107. However, at 2:42 a.m. to 3:37 a.m., Cox is located again in Lori's apartment, 175, where Lori lived with Ty Lee and JJ. This is significant not only because he is there in the middle of the night, but also because this is the only time in September he appears to go over Lori's between midnight and 6 a.m. At 4:37 a.m., Alex went back to his own apartment, Unit 107, until 8:59. At 9:21, he was located at a property with the address 202 North 1900 East Rexburg, which is the residence of Chad Daybell. It should be noted that while Chad Daybell's address is listed as Rexburg, it is actually located in Fremont County, Idaho. The 921 reading is a GPS data point and places him behind the home on Daybell's property near the east end of the barn. Alex Cox's phone was still at the Daybell residence at 10:39 a.m. At 10:47, his phone shows a hit at the city of St. Anthony. At this time, we are unable to tell if he was actually inside the city limits of St. Anthony. St. Anthony is about a 5-minute drive from the Daybell residence, or if this was a cell tower ping on his phone while he was still at the Daybell residence. At 10:57 to 11:39, Cox is located at the Daybell property. At 11:52 to 12:02, he was at Del Taco in Rexburg. He appears to spend most of the rest of his day in his apartment. Throughout this investigation, the Rexburg Police Department and FBI have seized, searched, and analyzed multiple cellular devices pursuant to several warrants. On June 1 of 2020, I was informed by Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI that the FBI had been examining a phone believed to be owned by Tammy Daybell. Tammy was Chad's wife and died on October 19th of 2019. The FBI found a text conversation between Tammy and her husband Chad Daybell on September 9th of 2019, which is the day after the last known sighting of Ty Lee Ryan in Yellowstone National Park. That text conversation reads as follows. Chad to Tammy at 11:53 a.m. Well, I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all of the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storms. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times. Chad to Tammy at 11:56. Gonna shower now and then go right for a while at BYU. Love you. Tammy to Chad at 2:47 p.m. Good for you. Chad to Tammy at 2:48 p.m. I'm back home now. I found the text suspicious because raccoons are normally nocturnal animals and are not regularly out during the day. It should be noted that from interviewing neighbors of Chad Daybell, we are aware that in mid-July of 2019, Garth Daybell, Chad's son, told their neighbors that Chad had shot a raccoon out of a tree on their property during the day. Those neighbors are named Matt and Regan Price. Garth told Matt Price about the raccoon in response to a question from Matt about hearing a gunshot. The Prices informed me that the fire pit in the back of the Daybell property was hardly ever used until the last few months. Reagan informed me that there appeared to be frequent bonfires in the pit on the Daybell property over the last few months, and the first one she noticed was soon after Tammy's death on October 19th of 2019. On June 2nd of 2020, Detective Bruce Mattingly of the Fremont County Sheriff's Office contacted Samantha Williams, who is the sister of Tammy Daybell. He asked her if she was aware of a pet cemetery on Chad and Tammy Daybell's property in Idaho. She informed him that she was aware of the pet cemetery and stated that both she and Tammy were pet people and that they had both had pet cemeteries. When asked the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property, she stated that it was east of the Red Barn and near the fire pit. On June 4th of 2020, I spoke with Samantha and she informed me that she was aware of the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property because Tammy had shown it to her. Samantha was then shown an aerial photograph of the Daybell property, and she pointed to the same area near the fire pit where Alex Cox's phone pinged on September 9th of 2019. The above facts established that Alex Cox appeared to be at the Daybell property on September 9th of 2019 until at least 11:39. Chad sent the last text to Tammy about burning debris and shooting and burying the raccoon in the pet cemetery only 14 minutes later at 11:53. The pet cemetery referenced by Chad Daybell is located at the same location as most of the pings on Alex Cox's phone on September 9th of 2019. On June 3rd of 2020, I interviewed Melanie Gibb and her boyfriend David Warwick in Pleasant Grove, Utah. We discussed in depth the weekend of September 22 and 23, 2019, due to the fact that both Gibb and Warwick stayed at Lori Vallow's residence in Rexburg that weekend. Gibb informed me, consistent with information she has previously given to law enforcement, that she arrived in Rexburg on September 19th of 2019. Soon after she arrived, Lori Vallow informed Gibb that JJ had become a zombie and pointed out behaviors such as sitting still and watching TV, claiming JJ said he loved Satan, and an increased vocabulary as evidence that JJ was now a zombie. Gibb observed JJ's behavior and felt it to be the same as she had always observed it. The last time Gibb and Warwick verifiably saw JJ was the night of September 22nd, 2019. Warwick informed us that it was late and that Gibb, Vallow, and Warwick were going to do a podcast. Warwick said that JJ was acting up, and so Alex Cox took JJ to his apartment in the complex. When Alex returned later that night, he was carrying JJ, who appeared to be asleep with his head on Alex's shoulder. Warwick specifically remembered this because he saw it as a tender moment. Warwick further informed us that when he woke up the morning of September 23rd, 2019, he asked Lori where JJ was. This was between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Lori informed Warwick and Gibb that JJ had been acting like a zombie and had been crawling on the kitchen cabinetry and had gotten on top of the cabinetry in the space between the cabinetry and the ceiling. She informed Warwick and Gibb that when JJ had climbed upon the cabinetry that he had knocked a picture of Jesus off the refrigerator. Vallow then informed Warwick and Gibb that Alex had come and taken JJ. The FBI CAST team has analyzed Alex Cox's movements the morning of September 23rd, 2019 by his cell phone GPS. At 9:55, Alex is again on Chad Daybell's property. He was there until 10:12. The pings on his phone locate Alex near the pond on Chad's property at the northern edge of his property. On June 3rd of 2020, I asked Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI to analyze the frequency of Alex Cox's visits to Chad Daybell's property during the month of September 2019. His response was, per your request, I checked the visits by Alex to Chad's house again. There were only 4 visits by Alex during the month of September. These were on 9/6 from 12:41 to 12:53, 9/9, 9/23, and 9/25 from 10:05 to 10:22. During the 2 visits on 9/6 and 9/25, all the pings were in and around the house, and there were no pings anywhere in the backyard near the fire pit or the pond. As you can see, these visits were also short, about 11 minutes and 17 minutes. like the one on 9/23, 17 minutes. The visit on 9/9 was the only long visit, approximately 2.5 hours. On June 9th of 2020, a search warrant was executed at Chad Daybell's residence and property. Can we put, can one of my amazing moderators, Black Rose or Patronus Glow? Anybody who's here, just put up a trigger warning, because what I'm about to read to you in the next page or two is going to be, if you don't already know it, and Cheryl, hi Cheryl. It's disturbing, so I just want to put that up there. Black Rose is like, please, no cursive words. Thank you, Patronus. Okay. On June 9th of 2020, a search warrant was executed at Chad Daybell's residence and property. With the assistance of a local FBI ERT team, we located at least multiple sites of interest. These sites were identified and correspond to the cellular data of Alex Cox's phone when he was on the property, mentioned in paragraphs 12 to 16. Additionally, one of the possible sites correlated to a location on the property Chad had texted his wife about, mentioned in paragraphs 17 and 18. The first site of interest was located on the north side of the pond near the north edge of the property. This site corresponded with the 2 GPS pings from Alex Cox's phone on September 23rd of 2019. A patch of ground was located that appeared to be disturbed. The weed growth on top of the disturbed ground was shorter than the surrounding weed growth. What appeared to be sod etching was also noticed. The disturbed area was approximately 4 feet by 2.5 feet. Members of the FBI ERT team removed the top layer of sod. Underneath the layer of sod were several large flat rocks. The rocks were removed and 2 pieces of flat paneling were found. The paneling was removed and investigators exposed a round object covered in black plastic. Upon exposing the round object covered in black plastic, a strong odor was noticed. An FBI ERT member used a small sharp instrument and made a small incision in the plastic, and a layer of white plastic was observed. An incision was made into the white layer of plastic, exposing what appeared to be human remains, the crown of a head covered in light brown hair. The remaining dirt around this object was methodically removed, exposing what appeared to be a body wrapped in black plastic. The plastic appeared to be tightly wrapped around the body and secured with gray duct tape. Cheryl Anderson, associate professor of anthropology at Boise State University, was present on scene and advised the remains found near the pond appeared to be human. A second site of interest was located behind a red, unattached outbuilding located roughly in the center of the property near a fire pit. Next to the fire pit is an area used as a pet cemetery. This site correlated to several GPS pings of Alex Cox's phone on September 9th of 2019. Ground in this area was probed with a steel pole, and several areas of disturbed ground were located. During a search of this ground, a buried cat and dog remains were found. A backhoe was used to dig further layers of dirt. While doing this, bricks were located approximately a foot below the ground. Once the bricks were discovered, the soil was examined, and what appeared to be 2 bones were located. Based on the condition of the bones, Cheryl Anderson was not able to determine whether the bones were human. Methodically, the dirt in this area was searched, and several other items of interest were found, including other bones, charred tissue, and charred bones. Cheryl Anderson indicated that these additional bones, both charred and uncharred, and tissue found were human remains. Investigators provided photos of some of the partial remains that were found at the pet cemetery to Sarah Getz, PhD, a forensic anthropologist. Dr. Getz was able to identify those remains as being non-adult human remains. While officers were conducting their search, Chad Daybell was observed by officers to be continuously watching where officers were searching. He was observed watching officers while sitting in his vehicle in his front driveway and while sitting in his vehicle across the street at his daughter's residence. Around the time the head mentioned in paragraph 32 and 33 was discovered, Chad Daybell was observed leaving his daughter's residence in a gray SUV. I and other officers pursued him in police vehicles and conducted a traffic stop and detained him due to the fact that human remains were discovered on his property. Further, your affiant saith not, dated this 10th of January 2020, signed by, 10th of June 2020. I just wanted to finish that so quickly. I messed up the date. 10th of June 2020, signed Lieutenant Ron Ball of the Rexburg Police Department. How many of you have seen that original probable cause affidavit? I'm just wondering. And if you did, was it like 3 years ago or more? Hi, Ann Vroom. It's been a while. How are you? Ann says, remember, this is all in Chad's immediate backyard, several acre area right behind his rural home. He lived in that house with his wife and daughter, knowing that. Phoebe says, Chad, you monster. Yes, you guys saw it. You guys saw it. You guys saw it. You guys saw it. What I find interesting about this, reading it for the first time today, is that while it talks a lot about Alex Cox's phone, it doesn't talk at all about Chad's phone, right? And I think if you're not familiar with this case, it will interest you to know that Alex Cox died in December of 2019. I just want to check that date in my notes. December 12th of 2019, Alex Cox dies of what they called natural causes, blood clots in his lungs. The number of bodies surrounding these two is unbelievable. Maybe that's why they had his phone in June of 2020 and they did not yet have Chad's phone. What say you, my friends? What say you, Angela? I don't remember much, if anything, about Chad's phone in Lori's trial either. I bet we do in Chad's. Happy says they're serial killers. Chad and Lori. Alex was a murderous lunatic obsessed with Lori. Oh, by the way, his sister. Yeah, what is up with that relationship? I have questions. Shelley says Alex died the day after they exhumed Tammy's body. Because Tammy died October 19th of 2019, which was also reported as natural causes. But after her body was exhumed, they found she died of asphyxiation. Oh, and in July of 2019, which was before the children went missing in September of 19, Alex Cox, Lori's brother, killed Lori's fourth husband, no judgment, fourth husband, Charles Vallow, in, quote, self-defense. That is now why Lori has been extradited to Arizona to stand trial for that murder. Yeah, very, very interesting, says Pierre. Janine says they have more on Chad than they do on Lori. Well, that's interesting. I can't wait to see it. This trial is going to be different in a lot of ways. I'm going to look at your questions for a second while we listen to a word from our sponsor. And for those of you who don't know, yesterday I covered this on my channel. Last night on Saturday, AT&T released a statement that remember when everyone's cell service went down for AT&T and everybody had no service for like 3 days, and then they said, oh, here's a $5 credit on your bill. Well, they announced on Saturday that 74 million AT&T's customers' social security numbers, dates of birth, names, addresses were leaked to the dark web. So this couldn't be a more perfect time to take a little break from this to talk about our sponsor, who if you were affected by that data breach, you might want to learn a little bit about to protect yourself. Did you know that the odds of falling victim to online crime are 1 in 4? Online crime is soaring. It's time to get smart about online safety. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura provides everything you need to protect your privacy, identity, finances, and your family in one easy-to-use app. Do you even realize how much of your personal information is already out there, being sold by data brokers to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you? Well, if you Google yourself, you may find something like this. And it may shock you to know that your full name, home address, email address, health records, and even relatives, it's all out there. That's one of the reasons you need Aura. Aura shows you which data brokers are selling your information and automatically submits opt-out requests on your behalf. Not only does cleaning up this information reduce the amount of spam that you get, but it will protect you from hackers who could use the information to help them access your social media accounts, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. Aura also helps protect me and my family from online threats by providing antivirus and malware protection, a secure VPN with military-grade encryption, credit monitoring, spam call protection, parental controls, password management, identity theft insurance, and more, without having to download several different apps. It's really easy to set up. And best of all, I get everything at one affordable price. With the family plan, Aura will help you protect your kids by blocking harmful content, managing how much time they can spend online, and providing you with peace of mind while they game with cyberbullying and online predator threat alerts. I value my privacy and my online safety, and I value yours too. So go to aura.com/Melanie Little to start your 2-week free trial, because you can't put a price on peace of mind. I've also put the link in the video description below. You can thank me later. You can thank me later. And it's perfect timing for that too. And actually, I am a user and I am a fan, and I did Google myself and all my information came up, and now it's gone. So I can vouch. In order to get the free 2-week trial, there's a link below the video description. Just click on that, or just go to aura.com/Melanie Little and get the free 2-week trial and let me know how you like it. Thank you, Patronus, for putting this up there, because I think this is really important. Reminder, please take care while watching tonight. It's okay to leave if it's too hard for you tonight. Your mental health is very important. I could not agree with you more. And I thank you so much for putting that up. Let's take a look. I found a timeline of the trial that I think will be a little helpful. Will be helpful for us to just take a look at together. This is from KSL TV. They made this, but we're going to. So on October 26 of 2018, Lori Vallow meets Chad Daybell, where he was a featured speaker at the Preparing a People conference in St. George, Utah. I didn't have time to look at the chat to see if anybody knows what that is, but now that I'm able to watch the chat, if you know, let me know. Preparing a People. Is that like a doomsday kind of thing? All right. In January 31st of 2019, Charles Vallow, Lori's 4th husband, tells police that Lori Vallow has become unhinged. And that was recorded on body cam footage. You may have seen that body cam footage, and it's very, very hard to watch because he's trying to warn them. In February of 2019, Lori and her husband moved toward divorce. Charles Vallow says that Lori threatened to murder him if he tried to stop her preparation for the second coming in 2020. So remember, this is what they believed was happening. Lori and Chad. The second coming was happening in 2020. Okay, so that conference you're saying was a prepper sort of thing. C.A. Beverford, an extreme prepper, and that was Amber who said that. And Janine said it was their own version of doomsday, right? Because it is a belief that I think the Mormon or the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints do believe, right, in the second coming, but this was a very extreme belief. In July of 2019, Lori and Chad exchanged text messages that investigators describe like a romance novel. July 11th of 2019, Alex Cox, Lori's brother, kills Charles Vallow, Lori's fourth husband. Lori's brother, Alex Cox, kills Charles Vallow, claiming self-defense. The killing was later ruled a homicide. September 8th of 2019 is Tylee Ryan's possibly her last day alive. Lori Vallow, Alex Cox, Tylee Ryan, and JJ Vallow visit Yellowstone National Park. It's the last day Tylee is seen alive. On September 9th of 2019, one day after the Yellowstone trip, when Tylee was last seen alive, Alex Cox visits Chad Daybell's property where her body will later be found. Chad sends a text to his wife, Tammy, about shooting a raccoon and burying it in the backyard. September 23rd of 2019 is believed to be JJ Vallow's last day. Lori takes JJ out of public school, saying he will get his education at home. This was possibly the last day JJ was seen alive. On October 19th of 2019, Tammy Daybell dies. Chad's wife, Tammy, dies in Idaho. Her death is originally listed as a cardiac arrest with no autopsy. She is buried 3 days later in Utah. Chad is eventually charged with her murder. On November 5th of 2019, weeks after his wife's death and months after Tylee and JJ were last seen alive, Chad and Lori get married in Hawaii. That is crazy. I remember in Lori's trial, I know we're going to try and pretend we didn't watch that trial for purposes of this narrative, but I just remember hearing the testimony about Lori searching for malachite wedding bands before Tammy's death on the internet. She wanted these malachite wedding bands. Ugh. And a dress. I think she was shopping for a dress too. On December 12th of 2019, Alex Cox, Lori's brother, dies from blood clots in the arteries of his lungs believed to be of natural causes. December 20th of 2019, Rexburg police declare Tylee and JJ officially missing. And Lori and Chad are named persons of interest. A lot of you may remember when this was unfolding. It's hard to believe this was 4.5 years ago. January 26th of 2020, a warrant was served on the Daybells. Hawaii police serve a search warrant on Lori and Chad Daybell after Lori is ordered in court to return her children to Rexburg, Idaho. I think also in Lori's trial, wasn't there body cam footage of that? Or they're drinking pina coladas or something, laying on lounge chairs. And the police come to them poolside and start questioning them about the children. Shelley, I agree with you that Alex did not die from natural causes. That is the one death here that I think has never been reopened, correct? I kind of wonder why. February 20th of 2020, 2/20/20. If you're into numerology, that's an interesting date. Lori is arrested. Kauai police arrest Lori, who didn't follow a court order to return her children. The story is now big news nationally. The couple returns to Madison County, Idaho, in custody, with Lori in custody. So she was the only one in custody, February 20th of 2020. By April 9th of 2020, the Attorney General's office in Idaho says that Chad and Lori are under investigation for murder. Oh, Alex was cremated, says Kathy. That's why. Oh, and whose decision was it to cremate him? Let me guess. Was it Lori's? I love when you guys help me with facts. Ten says they killed all the people. Yes, Galen. Thank you. Thank you, Galen. Also, big shout out to Maureen Francis. I don't know if you're here tonight, Maureen. But every time when she even just sees that I'm going live, she sends me a cash app, and I love you for that, Maureen. Thank you so much. You are so kind and so generous and so supportive, and I love that because Maureen knows that YouTube takes 30% of all super chats. So I appreciate you so much for, the tips. Moving on. June 9th of 2020, the remains are found in the Daybell backyard. Investigators serve a warrant and in hours find human remains buried in Chad's backyard. They are later confirmed to be JJ and Tylee. By June 9th of 2020, Chad is arrested close to his home and booked on suspicion of felony counts of destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. June 10th, Chad appears in court where bail is set at $1 million. The discovery of the remains of JJ and Tylee are national news, and a memorial springs up. And that is him with his attorney, John Pryor, who is currently still his attorney. He tried to get out of representing him. I think it was last month he made a motion to be relieved because he wasn't being paid. And the court said, no, too bad, so sad. Guess what? You knew about his money problems a long time ago. And we think you're doing this just to delay. So we're not going to grant that. Riddle me this, my friends. Has he been in jail this whole time, or did he stay out on bail? February 4th of 2021, Tammy's autopsy is complete, though the details are not released. Fremont County requests the case be sent back to its prosecution office. He's in jail. That's what I thought, because they upgraded the charges, right? Or could he not make the $1 million? Yeah, I think based on the probable cause affidavit that we just read, he was not indicted until May 21st. Was he out between the time that he was arrested in June of 2020 until the indictment in May of 2021? Locked up since the kids were found. Okay. WW Equestrian, hello, my dear. I'm worried this is all going to be pinned on Alex. No one else's phone pinged that we know. That's what I'm thinking. Is he going to blame Alex? Point a finger at the empty chair. I don't know. Unless there's a lot more evidence that we don't know about. Everyone hydrate water now. On May 24th of 2021, that is when a grand jury indicted Lori and Chad on new charges, including first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. And then this has to do with Lori's competency evaluations. And then by March 2nd of 2023, after several assurances that the cases against Chad and Lori would be tried together, new DNA testing split the cases. Lori wanted a speedy trial, while Chad's law team wants more time to examine the new evidence. Lori's trial was scheduled for April 3rd of 2023. Personally, I think that Chad's team wanted to see how Lori's case played out. That's what I think. Lori's trial began on April 3rd of 2023. 18 jurors were selected by April 7th. Opening arguments began on April 10th. This is interesting that Chad Daybell's trial is going to be in the same courtroom with the same judge, Stephen Boyce, that Lori's trial was in front of. That jury was not sequestered. And then they talk about the testimony at Lori's trial, which we won't get into. And most of this has to do with Lori's case. Let's see if we can get to this stuff on Chad. So Lori was sentenced to life in prison without possibility of parole, 5 consecutive life sentences. That was in July of 2023. Oh yeah, and she gave a really whack speech at her sentencing. Do you remember that? I mean, that made like Ruby Frankie's speech look tame. Among other claims, Lori said Tylee and JJ visited her in the spirit world and told her she didn't do anything wrong. It's whack. Lori filed an appeal in September 23. Big surprise. The remains were returned to the family on October 16th of 2023. JJ's remains were returned to his family. And then Tylee's remains were returned to the family on December 21st of 2023. It's heartbreaking. October 26th of 2023, Lori was extradited to Arizona to face murder charges for Charles Vallow. November 9th of 2023, the death penalty is considered. They tried to file a lot of motions saying they didn't want the death penalty considered, but this is and will be and is now a death penalty case. January 12th of 2024, Chad's attorney makes a motion to be relieved, which is denied. And today, jury selection began in Chad's case. This is a death penalty eligible case. And I'll go to the chat for a second, see what you guys have to say. Thanks, Deanna, for becoming a new member. Appreciate you. Great Dane Mom says that Alex sacrificed himself. Lily Lore, how are you, my dear? In my opinion, they offered Alex, but nobody cares. Nobody should. Robin McGowan says, that was my question. Alex was the puppet. Janai, I'm so sad. Charles tried to tell the cops and they didn't listen. Christy, thank you for being a member for 5 months. What a pleasure it has been being a member of the Cupcake family. Thank you for all you do, Melanie, and the wonderful mods. Oh, thank you, Christy. We love having you here. We love it. So this trial is going to differ from Lori's trial in a number of ways. This is going to be a death penalty case. Lori's was not a death penalty case. Death penalty was taken off the table for her. In addition, Lori did not call any witnesses in her case. They didn't put on any defense in Lori's case. This case, you can bet they will, because this is eligible for the death penalty. They're going to call witnesses in the defense. They're going to call experts. Lori's trial was, I think, 5 weeks. This trial is expected to take 8 to 12 weeks. I think they about a week to pick a jury in Lori's case. They're estimating that it's going to be 2 weeks to pick the jury in this case. And then after, if Chad is found guilty during the first trial, there will be a second penalty phase. So that could last another couple of weeks, at least 2 weeks. They're looking for 18 jurors. Currently, 12 will sit and 6 will be alternates. And, 6 alternates is for a, what are they saying? 5 to 6 week trial? No, 8 to 12 week trial. That's, jurors drop out, they get sick, they have family emergencies. So you need 6 alternates at least. So if anybody watched it today and you want to give us a little rundown of what happened during jury selection, let me know. But like I said, I find it kind of boring. So I didn't watch it. I did not watch it. Janine says Lori wouldn't let Jim and John give her a defense. Yep. Kathy says that was Lori's choice, her defense. There was some talk about whether or not Lori would testify on Chad's behalf. But, she's got appeals pending and stuff, so she probably won't, but who knows? I mean, if she insisted on that stuff for her original defense, maybe she'll insist on testifying. Why did Lori not get the DP? It was taken off the table for her. It was taken off the table. Liz, you are correct. Pryor, that is the attorney for Chad, watched every single second of Lori's trial. He was there with notepads, right? Anybody in the chat did anybody in the chat go to Lori's trial at all? Did you sit there? Because I'd be interested to know what that was like, because we only got to hear the audio of that trial. There was no video. Hi, Noni lady. Did Lori get her day in court for killing Charles? No, she was extradited to Arizona, and that's where she will be standing trial for those charges. So that's coming up. Why did they say today they need a 50 juror pool? What, they need 50 more jurors? Did they already go through so many that they needed 50 more? I thought they vetted like something like 2,500 already. Interesting. Since we're here, let's watch a little video from our friend Vinnie Politan. That's just like a little, because we didn't look at any video today. Let's just look at his little synopsis of the breakdown of, this case a little background.
Year-old Tylee Ryan and 7.
It is one of the most tragically bizarre cases in the history of court TV. If you wrote it as a screenplay, no one would take it seriously because it would be too far-fetched for anyone to think it was actually real. But it is. Lori Daybell was married, raising 2 children in Arizona when her brother shot her husband. Then she moved to Idaho to continue her affair with a gravedigger and author claiming to be a prophet. Then her children disappear, only to be found dead months later in the prophet's backyard. Meanwhile, the prophet's wife dies, and 17 days later, Lori marries the prophet. Then when they exhume the prophet's wife, Lori's brother collapses on the toilet and later dies. No one would believe the story, but a jury of 12 did and convicted Lori Daybell. Now, it's time for the prophet, Chad Daybell, to face a jury. Tonight, we'll take a close look at his religious beliefs and how they seemingly changed his life. We'll also examine his life and relationship with his first wife, Tammy, the woman he's accused of murdering, as we investigate the doomsday couple, Lori and Chad Daybell. I'm Vinnie Politan.
Did you get all that? Does everybody have it straight now? Tricia says Lori's ridiculous smiling court is so creepy. Yeah, somebody had a good explanation for why they removed the death penalty. And it is because the state missed discovery deadline. So Judge Boyce said, we'll go with speedy trial, but no death penalty. Thanks, Kathy, for sticking that in there. Janine, you're going over to Boise to attend Chad's trial. That'll be interesting. Please call in while you're there and let us know. You can come on the air and talk about it. Calla Lily says, preparing people, that was the name of the seminar, had seminars to prepare for the second coming. You are LDS. Thanks, Calla Lily, for chiming in. I appreciate that so much. Anne says, Lori's defense team likely figured they'd achieved all they could by getting the death penalty off the table. After that, they were like, yeah, she did it. Although reportedly, Lori wouldn't let them argue insanity. Didn't it go back and forth where she was deemed incompetent to stand trial, and then she was competent again, then she was incompetent? Or am I thinking of another case? Trishy said he made up a religion as he went along. Christy said, what a recap. Yeah. That Pierre's like, yeah, straight-ish. All right, Pierre, you new to this one? Good. We'll look at it with a fresh set of eyes. Brenda says, very sick people. Janine said, every time I saw Lori in Fremont County Court, I kept expecting her to break out in a Miss America way. Oh, I like one of these. Poncho Sussex said, I watched the voir dire today. They qualified 5 to 6 out of 32 people. All right. Great, Janine. Janine's going to be our boots on the ground in the courthouse. That's amazing. Okay, watch the jurors so that you can tell us what they're thinking. That's going to be cool. Thanks, Janine. You'll be like our very own Jules. Jules was the eyes and ears of the courtroom during the Maya Kowalski trial, for those of you who watched that with me. Honey Lady Vinny got the story in detail. Great job. Yes, and it was a nice, short, nice, quick version of the recap, which I thought was good because, you know, too much can be too much when it comes to cases like this. You want to take a look at the indictment? Because there's some interesting charges in there. So this is the original indictment from May of 2021, filed May 5th of 2021. And remember that it was Chad and Lori. They were indicted together by the same grand jury. And this basically goes through the charges, but it gives a little bit more detail. And it also gives some detail on what he did with Tammy's insurance. Does anybody remember how much, or was it ever revealed how much life insurance Chad collected on behalf of Lori? I mean, on behalf of Tammy? These names all messed up. Yes, we do have some cute hoodies. But you want the zipper kind? I know, I like the zipper kind too. I think I have to just do a logo that's smaller that can go on like I have a logo on this one, but it's not mine. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Like a zip up hoodie. Yes, I do love those too. Yes, I'll work on that. Amber says, I want to say it was $350. Somebody said $400. There were two different policies. So yeah, it could have been one was $300 and one was $150. Galen says $450. Over $400. Hello, Scotland. Eileen, what are you doing up so late? Or up so early? It's like almost 5 a.m., right? 4:45 in the morning. Hello, Eileen. I have a very large audience from Scotland, which I love so much. Let's take a look. All right. So this, you know how I think in song lyrics. So as I'm going through these papers, I kept getting that B-52s song in my head. Anybody know which one I'm talking about? You're living in your own private Idaho. I don't know why. It's like, and then I had to put it on Spotify, and then I kept playing it over and over, and now it's stuck in my head. Private Idaho. And what does that even mean? You're living in your own private Idaho. What does that even mean? Is that like some kind of 80s lingo that I'm not privy to? I don't know. Just a thought. Okay, and here's what they were. Chad Daybell. And Lori Noreen Vallow are accused by the grand jury of Fremont County by this indictment as follows. First count was conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception. And this was both of them, and adding Alex Cox in there for good measure. So it's saying that the three of them conspired between the dates of October 26th of 2018 and continuing until January 15th of 2020 to agree to commit murder in the first degree of Tylee Ryan and to commit grand theft by deception. And then they have to go through the overt acts that caused or that prove the conspiracy. So in order to prove a conspiracy charge, you have to have overt acts leading to the agreement to commit a crime in order to indict someone for conspiracy. And here's the overt acts as listed in this indictment. On or between October 26, 2018 and June 9th of 2020, Chad Daybell did endorse and espouse religious beliefs for the purpose of encouraging and or justifying the homicide of Tylee Ryan. On or about August 16th of 2019, Lori did change the deposit of Tylee Ryan's Social Security benefits from Tylee Ryan's JP Morgan Chase account to deposit money directly into Lori's personal bank account. On September 1 of 2019, Lori did move from Chandler, Arizona to Rexburg, Idaho with Alex Cox, Tylee Ryan, and Joshua Jackson Vallow, hereinafter JJ Vallow. So this has to do with the theft of the Social Security benefits after Tylee's passing. On or about September 8th of 2019, Chad Daybell Googled south-southwest wind and visited a website entitled, "What is the definition of south-southwest wind direction," or SSW wind direction. On or about September 9th of 2019, Alex Cox did go to 565 Pioneer Road, apartment 175 in Rexburg. On or between September 9th of 2019 and February 1 of 2020, Lori Vallow failed or refused to contact the Social Security Administration as required by law to inform the Social Security Administration of Tylee Ryan's death. On or between September 25th, 2019 and January 22nd of 2020, Lori Vallow did wrongfully continue to collect 5 monthly Social Security survivor benefits on behalf of Tylee Ryan. Count 2, first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan. Defendants Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow on or between the 8th and 9th of September 2019 in the county of Madison, state of Idaho, and as part of a common scheme or plan or continuing criminal transaction between Madison and Fremont counties in Idaho, were concerned in the commission of a first-degree murder and did aid and abet in its commission, or not being present, advised and encouraged its commission, or by command compelled another to commit the crime, and did so with malice aforethought, and did so willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation, which resulted in the death of a human being, to wit, did either kill Tylee Ryan and or assist in the killing of Tylee Ryan and or did encourage the killing of Tylee Ryan and or did command another to kill Tylee Ryan in violation of the Idaho Code. Same counts apply as to JJ Vallow, the overt acts, this time includes some acts by Alex Cox. Talks first about the religious beliefs that were endorsed and justified the homicide of JJ Vallow by Chad and Lori between October 26, 2018 and June 9th of 2020. On or about September 1st of 2019, Lori Vallow did move from Chandler, Arizona to Rexburg, Idaho with Alex, Tylee, and JJ. On or about September 23rd of 2019, Alex Cox did take possession of JJ Vallow. On or about November 26th of 2019, Lori Vallow provided a false and or misleading physical location of JJ Vallow to law enforcement during a lawful investigation. On or between September 23rd, 2019 and February 1 of 2020, Lori did not contact Social Security Administration as required by law to inform them of JJ Vallow's death. And then she continued to collect 4 monthly Social Security survivor benefits on behalf of JJ Vallow and 4 monthly Social Security child and care payments. How do these people think they're just never going to get caught? I mean, is it just like an extreme case of narcissism? Is it mental illness? Is it both? Here's the next count with regard to JJ and his murder and the conspiracy. So that count 4 is the murder charge as to JJ. Count 5 is conspiracy to commit murder of Tammy Daybell between Chad, Lori, and Alex Cox between October 1st, 2018 and January 15th of 2020. And here's the overt acts alleged in the death of Tammy Daybell. Chad and Lori did encourage and espouse religious beliefs for the purpose of justifying and or encouraging the homicide of Tammy Daybell. Lori moves to Rexburg, September 1st, 2019. Number 3, text messages between Chad and Lori regarding the death percentages for Tammy and JJ in messages on July 30th, 2019. Death percentages. Anybody explain that to me? 4, Chad Daybell obtained a burner phone on September 18th of 2019. 5, Alex Cox obtained a burner phone on October 9th of 2018. I'm sorry, 2019. That's both 2019. Chad Daybell gets his burner phone September 18th, 2019. Alex gets his October 9th, 2019. 6, text messages between Chad and Lori about Tammy Daybell being in limbo and Tammy being possessed by a spirit named Viola. On September 8th of 2019, Chad signed an application along with Tammy to increase her life map insurance to the maximum allowed under her policy. Alex Cox attempted to shoot Tammy on October 9th of 2019. Oh, that's right. Remember that? He went to her driveway and tried to shoot her. And she kind of wrote it off like, no big deal. It was just some kids fooling around. And that was the day after Chad ups her life insurance. Really? Are these people that stupid? Follow the money. Anybody who's ever watched one episode of Law and Order knows. Wow. Alex conducted multiple internet searches between the dates of October 8th of 2019 and October 12th of 2019, including searches related to Grendel drop and shooting through a Dodge Dakota. Alex going to gun range in the months before October 9th of 2019 when the attempted shooting of Tammy Daybell takes place. Alex traveled from Sportsman's Warehouse to the vicinity of the Daybell residence on October 9th of 2019. Alex was in the church parking lot approximately 2.5 miles from the Daybell residence on the night of October 18th of 2019. All right, those are all the overt acts for the conspiracy to murder Tammy. And then the allegations: murder in the first degree on October 18th and 19th of 2019. Chad Daybell did either kill Tammy Daybell and or assist in the killing of Tammy Daybell and or did encourage the killing of Tammy Daybell and or did command another to kill Tammy Daybell in violation of the Idaho Code. This next count is as to Lori only. We'll skip that. Count 8 is insurance fraud. Chad Daybell, on or about October 19th, 2019 to October 30th of 2019 in the county of Madison, state of Idaho, did with the intent to defraud or deceive an insurer for the purposes of obtaining any money or benefit presented or caused to be presented to an insurer or other person a statement as part of or in support of a claim for payment or benefit, knowing that such statement contained false, incomplete, or misleading information concerning any fact or thing material to such claim. To it, did present and cause to be presented an insurance beneficiary form to LifeMap Assurance Company in violation of Idaho law. Then again, he did that again with another insurance company, another count of insurance fraud. So he must have collected from 2 different insurance companies. That was a Primerica insurance company, and this true bill was presented in open court May 24th of 2021 by the grand juror whose signature appears at the bottom of the document. So I did not look at that when I covered the Lori Vallow trial with Duty Ron. Did you? Hey, hit the like button, everyone. Thanks, Fly Girl. Thanks, Fly Girl. PDX. Yeah, let's hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. It helps the channel. That would be really, really amazing if you would do that. Thank you so much. Damn Idaho, says Cheesecracker. So SD says, I truly think Alex and Lori killed Stacy in a mercy killing because she was so depressed and had multiple issues with anxiety and anorexia. And then somebody said, who is Stacy? And I guess C.A. Bever Forden says, the sister of Lori. Wow, there's another one. I mean, this story just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Lily Laura says they're so sick they could have gotten divorced and went to Hawaii without killing anybody. Yeah, why? Why not? There are a lot of people that would have taken the children. I don't get it. Rebecca, if Lori testifies at Chad's trial, maybe she wants to see Chad. Yeah, they're still married, right? Nobody filed for divorce in this case, right? They are still married. And for those of you who watched the Montgomery trial, the Adam Montgomery trial, I mean, it was clear from watching Kayla Montgomery's testimony, she was still in love with Adam. And she's out. She's getting out soon. She wasn't released yet, right? She's getting out in May. Kayla Montgomery. Courtney, I wonder this too. Courtney says, I wonder if his kids are still standing behind their father. He has 5 adult children. And I guess from reading that probable cause affidavit, one of his daughters lived right across the street from him. And says, in Lori's trial, the state just put on a boatload of digital evidence, developing an almost minute-by-minute timeline surrounding the children's demise and placing her, Chad, and Alex right there the whole time. Okay, so they had Chad's cell phone information too. Thank you, Supermax Captain. Says, yes, like and subscribe. Melanie is the best attorney on YouTube. Woo! Thank you. Thank you so much. Cheesecracker says, I'd take the kids and I can't even take care of myself. I know. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And listen, we were talking about this last night as well. And apparently JJ was on the spectrum and he had an IEP and it said that he was autistic right in the papers that we read. And we talked about this last night, that so many children, so many of the cases that we cover are children who are neurodivergent or on the spectrum or diagnosed with autism. Harmony Montgomery is one. The youngest, Frankie's son, is another. People were pointing, Sebastian Rogers is another. The Timothy Ferguson in the Shonda Vander Ark case, the Ferreter son. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Christy, it is so disturbing. Christy, it's so nice to see you in the chat because I usually see you in the comments. So it is such a pleasure to see you in the chat tonight, Christy, eh? She always says in the comments, hi, Christy. She always says, hi. And I say, hi, Christy, back. But I haven't seen you in the chat in a long time. So thanks for being here. Fly Girl, thank you. She says, you're welcome, Attorney Melanie Little, or maybe she, or Fly Girl, yeah, she. You're welcome, Attorney Melanie Little. You're the only channel that reports accurate facts. I haven't watched many, but none compared to you all. Thank you so much. I have watched many, she says, but none compared to you. I try and stick with the facts and the court documents because a lot of people are very confused by the documents. And so I try to explain them in a way that's not intimidating or scary. And I try to not patronize you in any way, but there's a lot of words that people don't understand. And a lot of people say, thank you for explaining this in a way that doesn't make me feel dumb. So you're welcome. Not everybody understands Latin, by the way. Although I did take Latin in 8th grade and I wish they still taught it in schools because it was so great for vocabulary. But I wish my kids took Latin, but they didn't. They took Italian, which is also very interesting because when I was in high school, it was French or Spanish or Latin. And now it's Italian, Spanish, or sign language. So I have twins, as you know. One takes ASL and one takes Italian. And my third daughter, my third teenage daughter, because I have 3 teenage daughters right now, takes Italian as well. So I love that. Maybe one day we'll get to go to Italy. And that would be really cool. This is about Stacy. SD, supposedly Alex and Lori found her dead. Lori mentions in her speech during sentencing, which is weird because the other people she mentioned, she murdered. Yeah, that's weird. Yay, Christy's doing a much needed staycation. I was hoping I'd be able to catch a live and you did. Yay! Oh, good. How long are you home for? Because I'll do it every night if you need to. Tell me what else you guys want me to cover. I'm not going to cover this trial live. I'm going to, catch you up every couple of days or so and talk about the important testimony. But I am fully committed to the Karen Reed case at this point, you guys. I'm just too far deep into it to not cover that one live if it happens on April 16th. So I have to save my voice and all of my energy for that trial at this moment. Oh, you're home for a week, Christy. All right. I'll be sure and get a couple more in there for you, because now that I have this new camera, courtesy of Duty Ron. Thanks, Duty Ron, if you're watching. Duty Ron, for those of you who are crossover subscribers, we do have a lot of subscribers in common. He underwent a very extensive shoulder surgery. And of course, it's his right shoulder, which is his dominant arm. So he is recuperating right now. So prayers up for Duty Ron in his recuperation with his shoulder. And also prayers up for Miss Donna Marie, my queen of the moderators, who has been undergoing some health issues, and she would like prayers from all of you. So let's all give prayers also to Miss Donna Marie. So we don't pray a lot, but when we do, we really ask for the prayers because we really need them. Melanie, are your kids into this content? Some of the stuff they are, Elle, and some they're not. So you'll see them pop in every now and again, but I think they get tired of me listening to all of this stuff in the car all the time ad nauseum. And, there's certain things, and they're always like, you should make TikTok videos. People are talking about all this stuff on TikTok. And I'm like, I don't know how. And, the stuff that's close to us, like the Long Island serial killer stuff. But I think they get tired of all this true crime. They were into the Gypsy Rose stuff. Oh, by the way, everyone, do you know that Gypsy Rose separated from her husband? That was news the other day. I saw that. And it was so weird because, like I always say, those people on Instagram who are showing everyone, and Facebook, or Fakebook, as I like to call it, because I hate it. Sorry, Zuckerberg, not sorry. The people on Fakebook and Instagram who talk about how happy their marriages are and how in love they are and blah, 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 are always the next people to get divorced. So, I mean, sad, but yeah, Crystal's like, yeah, saw that one coming. Yeah, so they got married. Cheryl, you didn't know? They got married while she was in prison. He started writing her letters. He was from Louisiana. She was from Louisiana. And now they were posting like crazy, weird stuff about how great their bedroom life was, let's say. And then all of a sudden it's announced that they separated, and she got off social media. She canceled. She just quit everything. So she moved back in with her parents, and I hope she is able to live a normal life. Poor Gypsy Rose. Janine says, I'm committed to this case, but we'll be checking your updates for Karen Reed. Okay, good. Lily's like, already? Yeah, I think they got married like in secret while she was in prison. Hello, Poncho Sussex. So I'm currently a recovering lawyer. I'm not currently taking on any new clients, although I do have my license to practice law still, of course. In fact, I was in traffic court this morning as a favor to a friend, so that was fun. But I spent 30 years as a civil litigator in New York state and federal courts. I sued the Catholic Church on behalf of 50 or 60 survivors of clergy sex abuse here on Long Island against the Rockville Center Diocese. That is my most noteworthy bulk of cases that I handled. So all types of civil litigation, including sexual harassment, sexual abuse, childhood sexual abuse, everything from, my firm. I had a big firm that I started before I was 30 with a friend of mine from junior high, and we represented people in all kinds of accidents. We helped injured people rebuild their lives, we used to say, but that was my passion, helping the survivors of clergy SA. So I know that we're talking about, again, this last night, the Madeline Soto case, and how I watched these male creators talking about the Madeline Soto case with such, it strains their credulity to think that what happened to Madeline Soto could happen, and how could this happen? And they go on and on about, these horrible things that she had to endure. And we know here on this channel that it happens every single day, because so many of you have told me what happened to you when you were children, and my heart breaks. Yes. And that Supermax Chem, those are the exact cases that I handled, except the movie Spotlight was based on the Boston attorneys, and I was in New York, and I loved that movie, loved it. And it was very real, and it was very true to life. And it's exactly what happened when that scandal broke. So that scandal started in Boston and it spread all the way here to New York on Long Island, and Suffolk County convened a grand jury, and they had issued a scathing report that was hundreds and hundreds of pages. But alas, the statute of limitations had expired and nobody could be prosecuted and nobody went to jail, because that's what happens in New York. It used to be if you kept a kid quiet long enough, you'd never go to jail. But don't get me started on that. Yeah, thanks, Pierre. They got no idea. No idea. So I've been wanting to talk about Madeline Soto, but again, I don't understand how people are covering that story every single day. There's been no new information, and I think we got to talk about it because everybody should be talking about it, because everybody should be talking to their kids about it. Like I did with my kids when they were little, because I handled those church cases. So I knew that I had to talk to my kids at a very young age about, you can always come to me. You can always tell me what to do, and if any of your friends ever tell you something happened to you, always come to me. Yeah, thank you. Good for me. Thanks. Poncho says, awesome. I'm retired from law like you. Yeah, I say I'm a recovering lawyer, because it's kind of like, you never really want to admit when you are a lawyer. So it was like, hi, I'm Melanie Little and I'm a lawyer. Because everyone hates lawyers. So yes, I did practice in federal courts as well. A lot of the harassment cases that I handled were federal. EEOC cases, things like that. So yep, both courts. Thank you, Elle. So admirable. Oh, you want to hear more about that case, Crystal? Which one? Madeline Soto or the church case? Yeah, we could do both. Things just keep coming up. Lily says, that guy met Gypsy on a bet. How stupid is that? What? Really? Oh, really? He started writing her letters, and then that's kind of funny. Thank you, Tracy. Praying for Duty Ron and Donna Marie. Thank you so much for that. Lady in Gray says Gypsy needs serious trauma counseling. Agreed. All right, so what do you guys think is going to happen with this Chad Daybell trial? Are you going to watch it? Are you, oh, here's Brandy. Hi, Brandy. Brandy's here. Brandy Churchill is here. Brandy, I saw you covered the jury selection all day today for like 9 hours. And so we were just catching up on the case for everyone who is not familiar with it, or even those who are familiar with it. We went over the probable cause affidavit and we went over the indictment so that we know what they have to prove at trial. And I know you've been covering this one closely, and you and I have been talking about getting together and doing a Karen Reed stream. So maybe we can do that this week, because Thursday is going to be the buffer zone motion. That's going to be a good one. So Olivia was in the chat last night, and I thought maybe, Brandy, if you want, you, me, and Olivia could do a stream together, and it could be like Power Women Hour, Power Girl Hour, with 3 girls who know a whole hell of a lot about that case. And Brandy has all the great charts and graphics. She knows it all. So let me know. I said, I'm committed to the Karen Reed trial. I can't do the Chad Daybell trial. Poncho says, yes, I think it's going to be based on circumstantial, which the prosecution during voir dire kept alluding to. Interesting. Anne says, I find Chad's lawyer, John Pryor, incredibly annoying. He's kind of a whiner, so no way will I be able to take 3 months of him. Has he also never tried a death penalty case? Did I read that somewhere? Because that's like cray. Lady in Gray, that would be great. Power Girl Hour. Look at Brandy says, sounds great. I love Olivia because she loves receipts like I do. Yes, and facts. All right, great. I'll set that up. I'll maybe do like a 3-way text chain or something. Maybe we can get our act together. I know we're all 3 so busy, so trying to get a day when we are all together might be crazy, but I think we should do it this week, Brandy, because I think iron's hot. Crystal Desire says Brandy is the chart lady. Yep, that's right. Pierre needs a girl power hour. I know, like the law tubers, like they have these guy clubs. And I don't think, Brandy, are you a lawyer? I don't think Brandy's a lawyer, and I don't think Olivia's not a lawyer. I know that, but it doesn't even have to be like law tubers. It could just be like girls who know a lot about stuff and facts and have it all tightened up, that we should do that. Because a lot of the guy law tributes have like all these little clicky things that they do. So I think it's kind of cool. It would be kind of cool for us to start that. I'm just saying. Fly Girl says, sorry, Brandy. You to report accurate facts. Love your channel as well. That's right. You too. Report accurate facts. Superbug's like the chart in the Karen retrial must look like a Cosa Nostra hierarchy. It's true. It is so true. Yep. Pryor is already showing his hand, says Sherilyn. Correct. Oh, that's a great point, Crystal. I think his attorney's just going to focus on the death penalty part. Yes, he's not DP certified. So you think he's just going to try the first part of the case, and then if it goes to a penalty phase, then they will call in a different attorney? Is that what you're thinking? Yeah. Oh, awesome. Amber watched jury selection on Brandy today, and then she switched to me this evening. Look at that. We're tag teaming. I love lawyers, says Liz. Little Cupcake says, girl power hour. Yay, let's do it. All right, good. Let's do that. Ann says, I imagine he's got DP co-counsel, but Pryor wanted to jump from Chad's representation when Chad ran out of money. But yeah, the judge Pryor would let him. Yeah, he did make a motion to be relieved. Judge said no. It's a delay tactic. No, you knew he was running out of money a year ago. So too bad, so sad. I don't know how he's getting paid now. I don't know. SD, the LDS is remaining silent regarding the growing movement in their church of their members and bishops taking the LDS beliefs. Yeah, they haven't said anything about Jody Hildebrandt either, right? And Ruby Frankie? Not that I'm aware of. I haven't seen any statements. The boxer brief. Oh my God, love that name. Olivia is in data analysis, so it makes sense she can do the same with data in court cases. Sean calls her combat analyst. Yep. That is true. So true. All right, my friends. I think it's time to wrap for this evening. First, a big thank you to all my moderators who are the best on YouTube for keeping the chat classy. As always, you know how much I love you. And to Sherilyn, who says that I always make her feel so empowered. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. I'm so glad. Bella says, 5 years of this. Let's get justice. Thank you. Thank you to all of my, please let's everyone hit the like button because it's really good for the algorithm, whatever that means. I don't know, but people say it and it's supposed to be true and it pushes it out there and it helps the channel. And we're knocking on the door of 30,000 subs, you guys. So, I mean, according to the analytics that YouTube gives me, they tell me that 40% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed. So that would be so amazing if you would subscribe, because we're getting up there and we're almost at 30K. And I only started posting my own content last July. So we're growing. And you guys, I know you guys are like the OGs that are still in here. So many of you have followed me since like day one, and I love you. You know I do. So let's get there. Let's get to 30K. I think we're only like at that. I was almost at 29,000 right before the stream started. So let's get there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. To my viewers, my replay viewers, you are all the greatest. And remember, my friends, as I like to say, first of all, go sign up for your free trial of Aura if you were affected by that AT&T data breach, because your social security number is on the dark web. And I've represented clients who have had their identity stolen. And let me tell you something, it is a nightmare. It's a nightmare to try and correct that. And Aura, and I don't mean to sound like an infomercial, but Aura has a 24/7 like dedicated line where you can talk to people on the phone if your wallet gets stolen. They will deal with all that for you for $12 a month. It's really worth it. And you get a VPN and all this other stuff that I was paying separately for anyway. I don't even want to get into that, but look, the link is below. Guide your actions accordingly. And remember, be cool, be kind, be classy. It is not hard, really. It is so not hard. Peace out, my friends. I'm going to see you soon. We're going to do a Girls Power Hour this week. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you'll know exactly when it's going to be. Peace out.